Hey, it's Les from the TV Dudes. This week, I'm lucky enough to chat with Fernando Carsa. Fresh to the scene, Fernando stars in Apple TV's bilingual comedy series Acapulco. Fernando shines as Memo, the supportive yet often naive best friend of the show. Acapulco marks his television debut 6 months following his graduation from UCLA. We chat about the experience on set, what he loves about his role, and much more. Hope you enjoy.
Hello.
Hi. Thanks so much for making time today. I really appreciate it.
No, thank you for having me. I'm really happy to be here. Thank you.
So, excuse me. Uh, Acapulco is a series that I felt like absolutely paid off the advertisement I first saw of it, of just this fun, amazingly set dressed and costumed kind of
hmm
past dream world that's somewhere between, somebody's real life story and uh, a very glossed version of it. Um, in terms of what you knew about the show when you're auditioning for it and you're just seeing sides, I feel like oftentimes shows I love have a real tone to them that I don't know necessarily jumps off the page. There's a lot of X factors as you put together the complete show. When you saw the audition for this, kind of what was the feeling you had for Memo?
Well, specifically for Memo, I mean, I fell in love with the show immediately because I thought it was really brave that Apple was doing a bilingual show um, and creating this space for the Latinx community and the immigrant community. But specifically with Memo, what attracted me a lot to it is the fact that he was um, the main character's best friend, and he was very positive. And I love playing the comedic relief in the projects that I do, just because it allows me to bring joy to people. And the fact that it was a plus size character that was not being made fun of because he was plus size, and this comedy came from the fact that he was so positive about everything. That's what attracted me to it immediately. And of course, the whole show, like you said, it has a lot of heart. So even though we live in this really crazy world, it's still a very vulnerable story. And that was very important to me. The fact that as a plus size Latinx immigrant actor, I was represented in a positive light, and Memo was that for me.
I love how subtly integral your character is to everything. I mean, Maximo would not have the job, wouldn't have had the job interview if Memo hadn't stopped him on the way to a much worse job, I'm sure.
Yeah, without a doubt. Yeah.
And so just how quietly the best friend character, who can often just be comic relief and then float out, is actually hugely instrumental to where this is all going. I also love how much the mother of all resume lies backfires. Uh, that I thought was just great that you just end up in the laundry room after claiming to be the
Yeah.
CEO. uh, in in terms of your dreams of acting, I know Broadway and the stage was one of your first loves. Uh, did you consider television acting, or did you kind of go into it just thinking I want to act, whatever that brings?
Yeah, well, the way that it happened for me, um, so I mean, when I was younger, I did dream about doing movies and TV and such. But if I'm being completely honest, well, I went through my whole training in college. I went to community college first, and then I went to UCLA. There were a few people throughout my journey that made me question my place in TV and film industry, just because they told me I was too theatrical for it. I didn't have the look for it. They basically made me believe that there wasn't a place for me in TV and film. So for the longest time, especially when I started training in school, I didn't believe there was a place for me. So I didn't even dream about it or attempt to follow that path. Because I'm like, well, it's not for me. So why would I waste my time? And I had been doing theater since I was 7. So yeah, I never dreamed about it. And then I graduated, unfortunately, when the pandemic hit. So all my showcases and everything got canceled. But there was one management company, they're called Vision Entertainment, who reached out to me and saw my potential that I didn't even know I had for TV and film. And then they got me this. I mean, we signed together, and then they signed me. They found me this audition, and that's how my journey with TV and film started. But to be completely honest with you, this is very unexpected to me and completely out of my plan, just because I never believed that I belong in TV and film, because I was told that I didn't. But life had other plans for me.
It's great. I always think about kind of the differences in acting style that are required between various performance venues. There's no
Hmm.
back road you need to perform to. Things can be out of chronological order. You might
Yeah.
do a take just close up on someone's eyes, and uh, if you're in the English department, there's a lot of groups under auspices of or under the blanket of that department, but there's a huge difference in writing poetry or a novel or a script or a newspaper column. Did you find when you started going for TV, having not really let yourself think about that before, did you find that there was a learning curve in craft in terms of anything you changed, or maybe the opposite? Did you find yourself having to stay out of your head about it?
To be completely honest with you, I mean, I think especially with Memo, it's a bit different because he's a comedic relief, so I get the freedom of being a little bit bigger than all the other characters. I mean, at least in some scenes. Um, but I will say, I think for me, what was most important, because for me was the storytelling. You know what I mean? And the advantage that TV and film gives you, in my opinion, in comparison with theater, is that you don't have that fourth wall necessarily. You don't have to cheat out to the audience. So you really just get to be one on one with the fellow actor you're acting. In theater, because you don't have a part of the set, which is with the fourth wall live, um, you have to create that image for the audience. What's right in front of you that is not right in front of them. In TV and film, that job's already done because of the different angles the show's being shoot at. Um, so you just really get to focus on that person. And that's the thing that helped me. I just focused on the person that I was talking to in those very intimate and vulnerable moments, which most of the time happen with Maximo. Um, and I think I kind of like thought about what the shot was at that point or the frame. And I was trying to focus more like on my face and being connected one on one with that person than trying to use my whole body, which in theater, that's what I would do. Try to use my full physicality. And there were some moments on sets when I had to remind myself, like, stay grounded, don't look around, don't move, just stay connected to that one person. Because you don't have to paint that whole picture for the audience. You don't need the last row to see you. So you really just get to be one on one with this person. But honestly, I knew that would freak me out if I ever thought too much about it because as a person who just started doing TV and film, of course I felt insecure about it. I'm like, I have no experience working in front of a camera. I'm afraid that I'm going to waste the production's time because I'm being too big and they have to stop every time. But thankfully that didn't happen. And I think I also have to credit my cast because they were right there with me. And I also, they were giving me tips and they were also like giving me such good advice throughout the whole process that it just felt safe for me to kind of not try to think about, oh, I'm acting in front of the camera. I have to be small and just exist with my fellow cast members. Um, yeah, but that's the biggest difference that I've noticed so far.
Did you find your experience on set to be what you expected?
It was honestly even better than I thought it was going to be. I thought it was going to be of course, it's a lot of hard work. It's long hours, but the thing that I love so much about the experience of filming Acapulco is that it helped me realize all the work that goes behind putting together a TV show. And I feel like as actors, we often get all the credit, because we're the ones appearing on screen. But then I learned to appreciate every single person that was involved in the production, which was a huge, I mean, it's something that I was aware of, but I don't think you understand it until you see it and you go through it and you see how hard every person is working and how everyone is a pivotal piece of the puzzle. Um, so I learned more than I thought I was going to learn. That's the thing. Like, I thought it was going to be like, you're going to learn how to act, be in front of a camera and like the lingo and this and that. And then you just learn so much more in so much of the work that takes to put together a TV show. And like in our case specifically, we were all living together because of COVID. So we were in a bubble living in the same hotel that we filmed, the whole crew and the whole cast. So there was a lot of time for us to like really get to know each other and ask questions about, you know, I talked to the camera crew or the people who were in the directing department or people who were working the production offices. Like I got to see every single area of this huge project and learn, you know, that it takes the village.
Yes.
So yeah, it was a very, I learned a lot, and I just learned more than I thought I was going to learn. And it was very fulfilling in that sense.
Yeah, I was thinking about, you'd mentioned earlier that, you know, kind of graduating right at the seam of COVID changing how all these things work, everything shifting to self-tape. I'd been thinking about you not really having, you know, it's not like you'd been on a bunch of sets and then sets changed. This is how sets are for you, this bubble and all, you know, the extra requirements to make everybody safe. And I don't know, it's a narrow silver lining, but that increased intimacy that maybe TV productions, movie productions often don't have compared to theater. You know, it's not everybody in it together. Sometimes, you know, folks drop in for their day and are out. And I would think that bubble really would add something to that cast bonding, and also to seeing the value, like you say, in the crew and the trust that you have more than you have on stage. That, oh no, I don't have to do everything for the audience because, you know, those 5 people over there running all of this stuff are covering me on props and set and costume and camera angles and just everybody in it together. I'm really enjoying the show. You are absolutely hilarious on it and get so much fun stuff to do. I can't thank you enough for telling me about it today. Can't wait to see what you get to do next.
Oh my God, thank you so much. I'm so glad you're enjoying it.
Have a great rest of your day.
You too.
TV Dudes is an independently run podcast out of Austin, Texas. We are exclusively listener supported. If you'd like to help us out, go to patreon.com/TVDudes.
You can also find us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at TV Dudes. All the music for our show is done by our friend and original TV Dude, Gregory J. Amani Smith.
To find out more about us, go to thetvdudes.com. I'm Randy Lander.
I'm Les Weiler.
And I'm Kyle Scott.
Thanks for listening.